It was a pretty bally good race, and now the Superminis are heading out on circuit, so it's going to be a really interesting battle with these guys. And of course there is a title fight still very much to win. It's not quite done yet for Joe Dickinson because drop scores are going to come into account, but in the fight between him and Dane Blackburn, Superminis are going to be brilliant. So the battle continues in the title fight between the Superminis riders Joe Dickinson on the 48 and the 114 of Dane Blackburn. The gap between them at this point is 51 points, but you've got to take into account as well that while that seems like a big gap, it looks to me as though it is going to be a very tight battle between these riders, and of course with two races there's 120 points up for grabs and drop scores to take into account. It's not done yet. Dane Blackburn will be on the back foot a little bit for this one, but he's never ever going to give up until it's too late.
Oh, definitely not. He's a fighter. It definitely is, and you know, he's really going to try and work hard to try and get that out there. It is, of course, only the one group that we've got out there today. We haven't got the two, so that's going to help me out massively with realising who that we've got out there, which does help out. So you can see there a lot of bikes out there. They've crammed them into the one group, as we can see them all lining up, ready to go for their penultimate race of the day. It's still beautiful weather. We've still got crystal clear blue sunshine here at Tattershall Kart Circuit here in Lincolnshire, and we shall get this race underway very, very shortly. And I think the flags will go up at the back. I think there's a little bit of confusion just getting people in the correct spots. But your front row, Joe Dickinson, Dane Blackburn, they're going to be the two to keep a very close eye on. It's very close in the championship, and they're going to be the ones to keep that very, very close eye on them. Further back, Tom Lewis, of course, and Sam Crooks, they're going to be your second row, and then Richard Holmes-Williams and Mark Evans are your third row out there. Green flag up at the front. It's going to drop. We've got a great aerial view now as the flag drops, and it's race one of these guys underway as they go into turn one. It's a good start, quick, short run into turn one as everyone manages to get through nice and clean. The rest of the back of the field going through as they go round into turn two. Now avoid this patch of dust here as they head round, screaming through, and it's already a good start from Joe Dickinson, managing to pull a slight gap from the man behind Dane Blackburn.
He certainly needed to keep that momentum, not just in terms of the title fight, but also in terms of the psychological upper hand, and he's managed to hold off Dane Blackburn for the time being as they go through the hairpins in the middle section of the circuit. So far, so good for Joe Dickinson. He just needs to keep things planted and make it nice and smooth as they go through each individual hairpin. It looks like Dane Blackburn wants a piece of him early on. He doesn't really want to play second fiddle to him for long. Oh, and a big moment there. That's cost... well, who is that went slightly sideways? It's Dickinson and Blackburn over the line. We had somebody going very wide. I think that might have been Joe Duggan. I'm not sure. The 64 might have been the one who went wide. I'm sure someone's going to correct me when it actually transpires. It was someone completely different. But Dickinson and Blackburn are still very close up in front. Only 0.2 of a second between them as they came across the line. So still very close in between those two. There is the gap for the victory. And the third place battle is even closer because that's Richard Holmes-Williams trying to get on the inside of Tom Lewis. Wasn't quite able to make his way through there on the braking zone, but you can see just how feisty Richard Holmes-Williams is getting on the back of Tom Lewis. Goodness me, he's now up on the inside of the next hairpin, and I think he's going to try and finish the job round the outside on the final turn, and he has done. So that is Richard Holmes-Williams into third position on Lewis.
Good stuff from Holmes-Williams there, I'd say, taking that P3 position on the 126 machine as they go down into the braking zone of turn one again. Now, 10 laps to go. You've got your timing screen up there as the rest of the field starts to cross the line. Of course, personal best coming in all the way throughout the field. Of course, the first proper full-class lap out there, of course. But then the next lap is where you're going to really see the times come into play. 45.4 from Joe Dickinson leading the way. That gap's open to just shy of 0.8 of a second. But as you imagine, it's going to close up. Dane Blackburn's not going to let him get away that easily.
So Dickinson and Blackburn. Richard Holmes-Williams is third from Tom Lewis and Luke Bithell. Then Wardle, Crooks, Evans, Booth, Duggan, Smith and Reece Stevenson from Callum Ricketts and Callum Brown. And then it's Garwood, Watson, Lakey and Wardale. Very close battle as they continue on their charge. And this is a very technical part of the race now because we're only a couple of laps in and people are wanting to try and get an overhaul from the riders in front. But at the same time, they've got to try and keep their rhythm and not lose too much focus.
Yeah, it's definitely the most crucial part of the race. Of course, they're really trying to picture what the plan is through the grid. And as you can see here, some of the riders braking, squirreling under braking there into that turn one. Again, it's such a crucial, pivotal moment of the lap. You know, the first corner, and it's the hardest braking zone on the circuit. And you don't want to mess that one up, do you?
Brown, Lakey, Watson and Wardale in that battle at the moment, and this is going to be Lakey, I think, trying to make the move on the inside. Hasn't quite been able to make the move stick. That's the other thing I love about this particular paddock. You don't just get battles towards the front end of the field in this British Mini Bikes field. It's all the way through the field. Everybody has a piece of this, and they all get the best possible opportunity to go for that pinion-to-pinion duels. It's great.
Yeah, there's always battles throughout the grids in British Mini Bikes. It is great to see, and I've really enjoyed this year so far. And as these guys are slotting through the positions there out of the final corner, they're going to be heading across the line now in just a moment. Of course, this battle further down, Lewis Lackey, Callum Brown and Matthew Watson, they're all going through there. There's the 2-2-1 there. Just having a good little scrap, aren't they?
It's Garwood up in front that they're trying to catch. I mean, he's not exactly making life easy for them. Meanwhile, further up the order, this is the tussle going on between, I think that's the treble 5 of Stevenson, having a nice little battle with the bike in front. That is Nathan Smith, and ahead of him is the 5, Rob Booth. So it really is all the 5s in the battle for 10th position. It's the 5, the 55 and the treble 5 all battling away. Now, further up the road, this is Crooks, Evans, Duggan. And this is going to be very, very tight. We've got yellow flags in the hairpin. Yellow flags. Oh, we've got 2 riders down. 2 riders down. Now, how far up the road is that one? Because we've got 2 riders in together. One of them is the... Oh, I couldn't quite make out which bike it was. But we've got this scrap going on in the middle of the field. And we've still got a bike or 2 down. Red flags. Red flags. So the red flag has come down. And we're trying to figure out which bike it is. Someone's come off. It's the 22. No, sorry, the 221. My apologies. Now, that is Lakey. So Lakey has come down. There is the bike. Oh, he's not happy. So Lakey is not happy at all. Trying to get his bike restarted.
I think he did have a coming together with another rider.
Yes, I think he did.
I'm not quite sure who it was. I think I saw a 3 within the number. But, of course, I don't want to speculate anything until we definitely know.
Well, who was Lakey on track with at the time? I think he was battling away with the likes of Watson, Brown and Garwood. So it could be one of those. Garwood has lost a heck of a lot of time. So it might have been Lakey making the move on Michael Garwood.
Could have potentially been. Now, I can just about see the bike on the thing. I can't quite see
the bike. The crew car is on the scene. Have we got a replay of it? Because everybody's on their feet, so I think it's reasonable to assume that whilst obviously they had to do the red flag for safety reasons, I think we're okay in terms of the rider's conditions. Yes, rider is being brought back, so I don't think it's a major problem.
I think just more massively disappointed with himself.
Yes, indeed. So unfortunately we don't have a replay for that particular incident, sadly. We thought we might have, but it hasn't quite caught the incident. So there is a very fed-up Lewis Lakey, who was banging the pinion in frustration, trying to get the handlebars to do something other than let him down. And unfortunately, it looks as though I'm just doing the math here, essentially. I think it's Michael Garwood that he tangled with. The only reason I say that is because Garwood appears to have lost about 10 to 15 seconds on his last lap. So Lakey is now bringing the bike in of its own accord, which is good news. But the problem is, of course, as I read it, obviously he is the cause of the red flag. So I'm assuming then he won't be able to continue.
I'm not too sure on that one.
I'm not sure how strict the regulations on stoppages are in the world of British mini bikes. I'd like to think that they can all just get back out there and have another go.
Yeah.
But the red flag was called at the end of lap 3. So I don't think the leaders had quite come through. So the next lap, well, the timings, they've all completed a 4th lap by going through the timing beacon. So the next lap, I guess, is going to be lap 5 as the race continues, because they are well into the race. So it just will restart, essentially, hopefully very, very quickly. The safety machine, the safety vehicle is now bringing itself back into its original set-down position.